Hi, I'm Crystal. As a child, I was always nurturing and naturally loved dolls. When I became an adult and discovered Reborn dolls, my little family started to grow. There's Haley, Landon, Avery, Chloe, Shiloh, Grace, Jamie, Jeremy, Maya, Yuki, and Savannah. Along with collecting, I have been a Reborn artist since 2008. It isn't easy keeping up with my collection, but it's a lot of fun.
Hey guys, it's Wednesday and I have the day off, and so I'm going to do a day in the life of Haley finally. I just programmed her with the controller. This is the controller that you use. I had the batteries out of it for a long time, so I had to reset the calendar and the clock and all that fun stuff, and then I programmed her to start at 8 a.m., which is in a few minutes, and she may or may not cry right away. We don't know. Right now, I'm just going to say that she's sleeping. It's really, really cold here. It started getting colder last night, and today it's supposed to go down to -30 with the wind chill. So I have her in a fleece sleeper, and it's okay, Riley. And I have her in this, I've covered her with this really beautiful hand-knitted blanket. It's one of the first blankets that I bought when I had the other Hayley, which was the electronic neonate Hayley, and at that time she was the only doll I had other than my childhood dolls. And I got it at Value Village, and it was like $1 or $2. So yeah, like back then I didn't have a lot of money to spend on clothes and things, so I mainly shopped at Value Village and got all secondhand clothing and blankets and things like that. But and I did really well, actually. I don't know why I don't do that more often anymore, but it's just the last few times I have been there, I haven't really found anything I liked. But yeah, and then there was a time where I worked at Value Village and I would get like a 50% off discount, so I would buy like baby clothes like all the time. But anyways, she is sleeping, and I didn't get much sleep last night because of my cold. My throat was really bothering me, and I was hot, and then I don't know, I think the pajamas I was wearing was a little too heavy, and I just kept getting hot, and so finally I got up and changed. And so I'm gonna try to get a little bit of sleep. I'm hoping she won't go off right at 8 o'clock. If she does, hopefully she'll just be sleeping and I can get a little bit of extra sleep. And then my main goal today is just to spend time with her and film like her day, and also like get some cleaning done around here, because I've kind of let things pile up because I haven't been feeling so well with this cold, and I just haven't had the energy to clean and stuff. So I've got to put a lot of stuff away and just general tidying up of things. So that is the plan today, and we will check in later. So it is 8:03, and just a couple minutes ago I heard her coo, which is what the dolls do to let you know that the simulation has started. I don't hear any breathing sounds, which if there was breathing sounds, it would mean she's asleep. So technically she's awake, but since she is quiet, I'm going to try, I'm just going to give her her little modified pacifier. I have modified pacifiers that have magnets for the so that it registers as feeding, but I also just have some that I've modified this way. I hope you guys can see. I know it's a little bit dark. I just didn't want to turn all the lights on just yet because I want to try and get some more sleep. But I'm just going to give her this modified. Oh, never mind. There, she's going to start crying for something. Okay. And it's been so long I used to know exactly what everything meant. So I need to get her ID. So basically you take this ID and you put it there. And so now it's registering that I'm going to care for her. And I have to figure out what she wants. I think it's a bottle. Let me just get her bottle. I used to know exactly what the cries meant, but it's been a while, so. I think it's bottle. Nope. Oh, okay, maybe it's diaper change. Oh wait, it is bottle. No? Oh, it's rocking. It's been a while. Okay, she wants to be rocked. So I'm just gonna get her up. Give me 1 sec. Okay, so I'm just rocking her. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how I'm gonna film all this today, just because it's hard to care for her one-handed and film, so I might have to set up like a tripod that I can just flick on. So you might kind of see her in the same spot a lot. But I'll try. Oh, she wanted to be burped. Interesting. So yeah, it's been a while since I've done this. It's been like a really long, probably over a year since I've had her on. And I used to know exactly what every cry meant. But I probably forget. So this should make it a little bit more interesting because I'll have to try and figure them all out again. But okay, she wanted to be burped. So the way it works is like they're on a set schedule. So I've just put her on easy, and so they have like random easy schedules. So basically what's probably happened is that, like, because it goes based on the time, right? So each day is a different schedule. And so this schedule probably, had I started her earlier, it probably would have had a feeding first and then a burping. So usually when you first start off the simulation, it sometimes it doesn't always make sense. Like, for example, right now, she wanted to be burped, but she never got fed before, so that didn't really make sense. But that's just because probably on the schedule, probably like before 8 o'clock, there would have been a feeding. So that's probably why. Okay, so I'm going to try to get a little bit of extra sleep. I don't know if I'll be able to, though, because I feel kind of awake now. But I'm going to put her down and just see if maybe she'll go to sleep for a bit. Or I'll just, like, I don't know. Because I've got a cold and I need sleep. But I don't know, maybe like I'll just have her beside me or something. So we'll check in later. Okay, so it is 10 o'clock. Well, almost 10 o'clock. And she's crying. And I think she needs a diaper change. Hold on. Okay, guys, so sorry about that. I couldn't get the diaper change on video just because I didn't have a way to set it up here in the bedroom. And I had to change her quick because she was starting to scream. But, so I took off this diaper. It has the green square. And then you put on a diaper that has a yellow square, so she knows that you're putting on a clean diaper. And as soon as I put it on, she cooed to tell me she was happy. So, I didn't get really too much sleep in. I was just kind of trying to sleep, but I'm up now. And so I think I'll change her into some clothes. Yeah, also, what else was I gonna tell you guys? Oh yes, the Real Care 2 babies they make random sounds during the day as well. So I probably won't get those on video just because I never know like when she'll make a random sound. So, and obviously I can't have my camera going like 24/7, but so as I was trying to sleep, there was a couple times where she did like a coo, and like another time she was like, oh, and it kind of made me jump. But, okay, so I'll try and get the next diaper change on film, guys, but yeah, so I don't hear any breathing sounds. So yeah, she's still awake, so we'll get her dressed. I'll see if I can get the camera set up somewhere so I can get her dressed. So just as I was going to get her clothes, she cooed, and then I don't know if you guys can hear that. Do you hear those breathing sounds? So that means she's sleeping now. Okay, well, I still want to get her dressed because she's naked, so we'll have to do it carefully not to wake her. Okay, so, when we were at Alex's aunt's on Christmas Day, we got Christmas crackers, and I got a little tiny tripod in my crackers, so I've set up the camera on that. I don't know how well you guys can see, but I have a second ID. So usually if you're doing the school project, you have an ID that you wear on your wrist, which is the one that I've just been using now. But I've gone and modified a second ID, and I put a pin. I glued a pin on the back of it. So what I do is I pin it inside the shirt. So that way the ID is right there, and it will register right away when she starts crying. So I won't have to do it. I'll just have to pick her up and care for her. So I just put that inside her shirt, because you can put the ID on her chest, on her tummy, or on the upper part of her back and her bum. So that's the places where it registers. So if you put it on the inside of the shirt, and then you put it on oh shoot, this is a tight shirt. Sorry, Haley. Poor baby. I don't want to screw up your eyelashes that I like just put new eyelashes on her a couple months ago. Yeah, so you'll see like it's inside the shirt, and it's pretty much going to be touching with the back sensor. So I'm going to put this monkey shirt on her, and I have these Baby Gap up to 3 months khaki pants. They're a little bit snug on her, but it's not too bad. She is a little bit harder to dress just because she is full vinyl, and it's kind of a harder vinyl, so she isn't as flexible as Reborns, obviously. Here, let's turn your head this way. Sorry for my voice. I did a lot of coughing yesterday, and so my throat is kind of raw. So I don't know when I'll be able to sing again for a Sing With Me Friday video. Right now I just can't with this cold. So it will have to wait until I'm better. But yeah, it's funny, like these pants are kind of long on her, but at the same time in the waist, they're kind of snug. But I'll get you off the tripod, or I'll bring it over so you can see what she's wearing. So she's wearing, it looks kind of blue on this camera, but it's a purple shirt with a monkey and these khaki pants. So I gotta get her some socks, and then I'm gonna let her sleep since she's sleeping. Okay guys, so it is about 10:40 and she's crying for a bottle. So I'm gonna give her a bottle. Now, the Baby Think It Over bottles, like that come with them, like the Real Care bottles, are just like, you have to hold it like this. But I've modified it kind of like we do with the Reborns. But I kind of found out like later on that when you put the magnet in the bottle, before you do that, you should coat it with clear nail polish. Otherwise, it starts to rust. I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of turning green. It's kind of gross. This is a really old bottle that I had made for her, so it's kind of like going bad, so I have to redo it. I have to make a new bottle for her, but for now I'm just going to use this one. And I also have a modified pacifier somewhere that has a magnet on it as well, and so that registers for feeding as well. So it's kind of nice because you can kind of do like a hands-free feeding. So yeah, so I'm not sure exactly how long she will eat for. Obviously I don't want to film the whole thing because it would be too long. So it's not much different than a fake formula bottle for a reborn. You pretty much do the same thing. The only difference is you're putting a magnet in it, because the magnet is what registers with the computer for the feeding task. So yeah. So I mean, at least most of her discoloration is on the back of her head. So you don't really see it. And the parts on her limbs are kind of on the back as well, so you don't really see it much. So I don't know what I'm going to do about it. I'm considering contacting a an artist that does air dry paints to see, but I don't know that they could actually correct it because it's a really orangey color, and I don't really know how they would get rid of it. I mean, you could tone it down, I guess, with some washes, but it's not going to totally get rid of it. So and I mean, I don't really play with her as much as I used to, so I'm not really concerned about it. But yeah, I still don't really understand what happened, but my guess is the lotion, because it was old, or it could also have been baby wipes that I used that were from the dollar store, perhaps, because I don't think those are that great. It was like shortly after I bought them that they actually had like a recall on them, so I threw them out. but I'm wondering if maybe I used them on her and maybe they had some kind of reaction to her, with her skin. I don't know. It's very strange because apparently no one else has had this happen with their baby thinking over, so I'm not really sure what happened. So those are the feeding sounds. Not very realistic, but what can you do? Obviously, since it's based off of a real infant schedule, the feeding time is, you know, it can be a long time. It can be up to like a half hour for feeding, just depending. Sometimes she'll be done feeding and then you'll need to burp her and then she'll want more of the bottle, just like a real baby. You have to burp them in between, so it just depends on the schedule that she's on. Another thing with the Real Care 2s is like when they do cry for care, you only have about, I think it's like, sorry, like 2 to 3 minutes to care for them. And if you don't care for them within that time frame, then it goes as neglect on the computer. So, I mean, that to me is not very realistic because obviously with a real baby, sometimes, you know, if they start crying and they want a bottle, it takes a while to prepare a bottle. And so they're going to be crying for longer than like 2 to 3 minutes while you're making a bottle, obviously. So, you know, in that sense, it's not very realistic. Like, I just was in the middle of putting some stuff away in our storage room, and I basically just had to drop everything on the floor. And the door to our storage room is still open and everything. Like, I just had to drop everything to care for her because if I didn't, then it would say missed care. So, that's the only thing. Also, they don't want you to prop the bottle during feeding. So, they have a new thing where, like, they have to sense some kind of movement while you're feeding them. So, if they don't sense any movement, they start to fuss because then they think you've propped the bottle, which is kind of silly because usually you don't sit there and rock your child while you're feeding them. I mean, you generally just sit and feed them. So, what I'll do is I'll usually just like shift myself a little bit, or I'll like shift the bottle a little bit, and then that'll sense that I'm holding the bottle. If I'm using the pacifier, which is basically like propping a bottle, then what I usually do is have her near me in either the bouncer or the car seat, and I'll just occasionally, when she starts to fuss for no movement, I'll just like rock the car seat or like bounce the bouncy chair, and then it'll register. But other than that, I usually just feed her like this. Again, because she's a stiffer vinyl and she's full vinyl, she's not exactly cuddly to hold. My electronic neonate had a flat back, which was very uncomfortable to hold. The Real Care 2, they made like a contoured back so that it's more like a realistic feel of a back. So it's a little bit more comfortable to hold, but she's still very stiff. So in terms of cuddling, like, there's a fluffy on your bottle. Sorry, hold on one second, Haley. Yeah, so I mean, for cuddle factor, I much prefer my Reborns. They're a lot more cuddly. I mean, I know when I didn't have them and I only had her, I would hold her and cuddle with her a lot while watching TV. I would just wrap her in a blanket and it made her a little bit more snuggly, but she is quite heavy because of the electronics. So I much prefer my Reborns over her. I mean, if I am really like craving that baby factor of like wanting to care for a baby, then I'll put her on. Because of course she cries for care at random times like a real baby would. But I don't know, I'm more into my Reborns now. So like I said, this is the first time I've had her on in probably over a year now. So, I much prefer my Reborns. They're just a lot more cuddly and posable, and so I just realized that I forgot her bib. I usually put a bib on her when I do the feeding, but I didn't have time. I basically have to have everything that I'm gonna need like out and in one place so that I can get to it quickly. Yay, she's done. So that was about 15 minutes. It's now 5 to 11. So she might cry for burping, which I don't have my burp cloth or receiving blanket. So these are some things that I will have to pull out to make sure I have them for later. All right, guys, so she needs to be burped. And I'm trying to do this in a way that you guys will be able to see. But basically, with the burping, the motion sensor in her just has to sense motion. So you can pat the back like burping, or you can actually just rock her and she'll eventually burp. So, the clanging you're hearing, there's plastic on the back and her ID tag is kind of like bumping. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish burping her. You guys heard her burp earlier when I thought that she needed rocking, but it ended up being burping. So I just want to try to like not drag this on because there's going to be a lot of activity with her during the day. So I want to just try to shorten it as much as I can. So I'm just going to finish up burping her and we'll check in later. So it took about 3 minutes to burp her and now she is asleep again. So it's about 10:57 a.m. and she's napping again. So it is now almost 11:30 and I believe this is a diaper change. Yep. She needs a diaper change. And as you can see, she's getting quite mad because it's taking a while. And I was just sitting down to eat a snack too. Which is so funny. I find with these dolls that's the one realistic thing about them. It seems like they start to cry for care right when you sit down to eat. Which is sort of like a real baby. I was just sitting down to have some honeydew and cantaloupe because I'm hungry. I just put a load of laundry in. I've got everything put away that needs to be put away. Well, just about. There's a couple things on the coffee table here that I have to tidy up, but I'm pretty much done with the cleaning. But I got to get some chicken defrosted for dinner and finish up the laundry, run the dishwasher. Busy, busy, busy day.
doing household chores. Yes, fun times. All right, so she's awake. I think I'm going to set her up on her play mat so she can play while I eat. So one of the nice things about the Real Care 2 is that when they are awake, you can put them on their tummy. The Real Care 1s, as well as like the original Baby Think It Overs, you couldn't put them on their tummy at all because they're trying to promote, you know, infants sleeping on their backs. But because the Real Care 2, like when she makes the breathing sounds, she's sleeping. But when she's not making them, it means she's awake. Then you can actually put them on their tummy when they're awake, because obviously with a real baby, you can do tummy time when they're awake. So here she is on her little play mat doing some tummy time. And I'm going to try to finish up my little snack before she starts getting fussy again. Quick little video to show you Ava. She's all bundled up, and I know this past Thursday was Bundle Me Up Thursday, themed Thursday, and so I know I'm a bit late, but I thought I would just quickly show you. We just got back from my grandmother's. We went for the afternoon for a visit, and I brought Ava along because my grandma hasn't met her yet. Okay, say hello to everyone.